Welcome to all of you joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you are. It's nice to have you here with us on this Thursday. We're just a minute away from beginning together. In the meantime, you know where to start and how to start. You don't have to wait. And we close our eyes. And we gently let awareness rest on the breath. Watching, simply observing the breath, the sensations of the breath coming in, and the sensations of the breath going out. And even though I do it each time, I'm going to insist today, as part of our practice, especially today, on allowing the deepest relaxation possible, be it physical or mental or emotional. As you will see, it's connected to the Israel in us, to the wrestler, the seeker in each of us. So take the time you need to allow the body-mind, to allow the heart to deeply rest and surrender, to deeply let go. Every out-breath that awareness observes, another invitation to a deeper surrender, a more profound letting go. An opening, really, if I had an image to offer, it would be to go from a tight fist to an open hand, to a completely open hand in our posture, attitude towards the moment. Relaxing not only on the gross physical level, but also as the relaxation deepens, to become aware of the more subtle levels of tension, contraction, of resistance, of fear that are underlying the ego's existence, I would even say. And as you continue to practice this deep, deep surrender and relaxation with every out breath, and never believe you're there yet. There's always more subtle ways that the ego tenses, resists. But from wherever you are right now, if you so choose, I invite you to chant and invite into our practice energies of wholeness, harmony, and peace, energies of shalom. Shalom. And today we are still exploring, not from an intellectual perspective, but from a lived, real, experienced perspective, the paradox of the great listener, awareness resting with the great wrestler, the Yisrael, that Jewish koan, that are the first two words of Shema, of the Shema, Shema Israel, holding the paradox as one, the truth of both, but exploring as part of our meditation in real time, from a real felt sense, not from philosophy or ideologies, but really from yours and mine, real experience right now. What that Israel, that wrestler, that seeker feels like within. And perhaps because of the paradox, I want to start today with a statement maybe too obvious to us who have been on this journey, but a kind of statement that says that, or reminds us that everything that is, from the best of things to the worst of things, is but a manifestation, an expression, perhaps better said, an appearance of the one source, of the one spirit. Everything that is the appearance of the one spirit. But the great wrestler, the great seeker, the Yisrael, the part of self involved in that great search, that great search depends on denying that truth, of denying that everything is always already one, that everything is always already one thing, one substance. So the God wrestler within, because its existence is based on that great seeking, that great searching, must deny that it is already here in order to keep on seeking and therefore keep on existing. But because oneness, one spirit, is always already here, the great search of the Yisrael is doomed to fail. It is doomed to fail. And yet we have to do it. We have to do it because we start from Yisrael. We start as the great seeker. And so we have to do it. We have to engage in the search, paradoxically, because we have no choice. And when along the way we're blessed with little insights here and there, a flash of light in the darkness, a little moment of awakening. Paradoxically, those glimpses at a reality beyond ego strengthens the ego, because the ego thinks it is doing it, that its great search is successful. And then it holds on to those glimpses, to those little moments of awakening. And because it does, its search is doomed to fail. Every holding onto a moment of awakening is doomed to fail. Because everything is always already one spirit, one truth. But it is only when we truly come to realize that truth that we stop struggling, that we stop wrestling, that we stop trying to hold on to anything, any insight, And when we do finally surrender, we know with every fiber of our being that this moment, right now, is full of as much true reality as every moment that ever was or could ever be. Only then do we know that the search is over. And it is over right now, even though we have no choice but to engage in it. And what we find is that that seeker, that wrestler, the one engaged on the path of the great search, is that which resists this present moment. It is that which fears this present moment. It is that which is anxious, is fearful of life as it is. It is that which meets this moment and wants it to be other than it is. That seeks to control, afraid as it is of its own consciousness, of its own presence, of its own divinity. And that resistance, that wrestling, that inability to be with what is, creates, solidifies the separate self. That illusion that says that there is experience and there is a self experiencing it. And that's why we started today with insisting on a deep relaxation, because that is key to letting go more and more of the most subtle ways we resist this moment. We fear this moment. And meditation is the means through which we, time and time again, come to frustrate the wrestler, the seeker, that it might grow so frustrated in its inability to end the great search by itself, that it eventually comes to realize it can't do it, that it never had the power to doing it in the first place. Only when we get there, after this literally exercise in frustration, can that false separate sense of self finally relax completely, let go completely, and any dualism dissolve. So rest with the breath, shemaing as you go. And continue to relax, to surrender, to let go. Finding the most subtle ways the Yisrael within resists this moment, moves away from this moment, fears this moment, and just remain aware and just remain equanimous. And we gently let go for now of our practice. Even though it's quite a challenge to step out of such a deep, relaxed place and then transition into the busyness of life. But perhaps this contrast is a teaching in and of itself, that we might want to create more of these kinds of moments, carved out of busyness for our own mental health, emotional health as well. So take a couple of deeper breaths and stretch the body in any way that feels comfortable. And we'll share all that we might have received today. With all beings, near and far, known and unknown, that all beings might uncover what is always already here within them, that deep inner peace, true harmony, and absolute wholeness. Moderni. Thank you.
Dani, thank you.
Dani.
Dani, thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Hi, Jan and Michigan.
Bye. Thank you.
And take care, everyone.